found it. Now the real work begins.
Look at that rust.
The first step is always the most satisfying, washing away decades of grime to see what's underneath. Just gotta put some muscle into it. Yeah, hear that crack? We are in business. And there it is, the rear brake disc is finally off. That took some serious effort, but look at the corrosion underneath. All right, getting these rear calipers tagged up, crucial to keep everything organized, especially with the Batmobile parts. These are from phase 2 disassembly. Just a bit more scrubbing here. It's amazing what a wire brush and some elbow grease can do. Look at that contrast. And finally, the rear suspension is free. That took a lot more effort than expected, but we got it off the chassis. Got the last bolt off.
Okay, easy now. Bring the cart down.
We'll label this as the exhaust assembly and set it aside here on the pallet. It's heavier than it looks. Look at the difference already. We're finally getting through the corrosion on these drive shaft bolts. These haven't moved in decades. Okay, perfect. One down. Now for the next one. Step by step, we're bringing this legend back to life. These seats are rough, but they're finally out and tagged. Decades underwater really took its toll, but we can fix this. All right, guys, we finally got the console separated. You can see where the clip snapped. We're definitely going to need to address this wiring loom. There we go. Finally managed to break that seal. That is one heavy piece of metal. All right, the first step is getting these fuel tank straps off. These bolts are completely seized, so we're hitting it with the impact gun.
All right, that is finally out of there.
Wow, look at the corrosion on this side. Piece by piece, the Batmobile lives again. Securing the fuel tank means we're one step closer to getting her running. Okay, twisting it free now. And there we go. Wow, that is some nasty coolant. The engine harness was fused with decades of grime. Taking the time to unplug each sensor sequentially is crucial before we can finally pull the motor. All right, the hoist is in position. Now we just need to secure these chains to the engine mounts, and we can start lifting this beast out of here. And that should be it. Fully clear. Perfect. What a relief to finally have it out. That went smoother than expected.
One step closer to firing her up.
All right, the bench is ready. Let's get that gearbox mounted. And that is perfectly balanced. Now we can finally start the teardown process. All right, the extraction is complete. Now for the teardown.
Let's see what we're working with inside the gearbox.
This is the cylinder head plug. I'm just labeling these caps now, F here, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, so we don't mix them up when they come off. Look at that corrosion. Decades underwater really took their toll. But we got the first one out. We're checking the lift here, and unfortunately, as expected, these lobes are completely wiped out. Look at the pitting under this grease. All right, making sure we mark these caps 1 and 2 so they go back in the correct orientation. All right, let's get these main caps off. This first one is always the tightest. Using the bore scope, we can see the extent of the corrosion. These cylinder walls are heavily pitted and scored, confirming the engine is seized. Listen to that crack. That's the sound of 30 years of rust finally letting go. We're making progress now. This gearbox holds the key to getting the Batmobile running again. It looks daunting, but we're organized and ready to tackle this teardown. That took some leverage, but we finally got the drain plug out. Look at the state of this fluid. Look at the state of that. That is some seriously thick, degraded gear oil. It's almost like syrup.
All right, let's get this main shaft out of here. Look at all that corrosion. Now for the satisfying part, cleaning up this mess. All right, slowly but surely we've got the input shaft out. Look at the condition of those gears. Step 5 of the teardown is complete.
It's strangely satisfying seeing it all laid out like this. The rust goes deep, but the structure seems okay here.
Check that inner tooth though. That looks like a stress fracture.
This bearing is completely toast. We're gonna need a full replacement kit. All right, let's check these shift forks. We're looking for any signs of bending or excessive wear on the pads. This one looks pretty rough. All right, let's check the clearance on the synchronizer. We need to make sure it's within spec before we reassemble. Looks like we're sitting right at 5 thousandths here.